She was one of the most controversial characters to ever be introduced within the Dragon Ball franchise, and alone was able to push the boundaries of what it meant to be an ever so rapidly growing fighter. But what if Kefla was able to break beyond her limits and achieve Super Saiyan 3? On today's video, we will be discussing Super Saiyan 3 Kefla and her influence in the Tournament of Power, if she was somehow able to break through her shell in achieving a power beyond what we saw in the current tournament in achieving Super Saiyan 3. So strap on in, buckle up, and hold on to your Dragon Balls, because we are going to be talking about Super Saiyan 3 Kefla in the Tournament of Power next. If you are new to this channel and enjoy what you see, then don't forget to punch that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to receive new and daily content on your mobile devices, desktops, and services that I provide, along with following me on these social media platforms to stay connected with me at all times. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now let's begin. She was both loved and hated within the Dragon Ball community, and having to introduce for the very first time in a tournament setting a fusion by two female Saiyans, giving birth to the almighty warrior Kefla. As joining me here today to discuss the concept of Super Saiyan 3 Kefla is my good friend SuperSaiyanPaul. Now Paul, what if Kefla in some way, shape, or form was able to break beyond her current limitations in achieving Super Saiyan 3 in the Tournament of Power? How would Kefla's influence alone impact the entirety of the Tournament of Power having to go forward? Because for me, to give my 2 cents as to what I think that if Kefla was actually able to transform into a Super Saiyan 3 in breaking beyond her limitations in achieving such a power, her only weakness, I think, would be the amount of energy having to be exerted from her body, similar to how we saw Super Saiyan 3 Goku fight against Majin Buu, and of course Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks fight against Super Buu. Now, I think that Kefla indefinitely would be, if anything, one of the top 3 fighters in this entire tournament. The only takeaways would be Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku and Jiren. At that given point, it's really safe to say that Kefla, with her influence alone, would easily be able to blow away anybody that came across her in the actual tournament setting. That includes Toppo, Frieza, 17, Vegeta, Gohan, Dispo, characters of that nature. However, some people may disagree, but looking at Kefla alone and seeing how she was able to tank an Ultra Instinct Goku's punches and coming back after him, some people will make the assessment in saying that Kefla was only too strong for her own good. But what if she was able to even go beyond that in reaching Super Saiyan 3? How do you think she would influence the tournament? What kind of an impact do you think she would have? And by the end of it, who do you think would be able to stop Kefla if it's not Jiren or Goku? Would she be able to completely just run through everybody, or would it be safe to say that she would be powerful but vulnerable at the exact same time?
If Super Saiyan 3 Kefla was to actually appear in the Tournament of Power, regarding like the power scaling between Super Saiyan and then Super Saiyan 3 coming into play here, it would have had to have caused Goku to either completely destroy her in Ultra Instinct or being evenly matched, to the point where maybe even other fighters would have to jump in and help them out, because that's just too much power for someone to just come out of nowhere with. And with how far she pushed Goku into going to Ultra Instinct and that, and even taking some hits from him before that Kamehameha, it's either you defeat her with raw tactics or you guys are gonna have to gang up on her.
But then again, seeing as how Kefla, when she first fought Goku, we saw, she had raw tenacity. She kept increasing in power, and notably put, I think that she was one of the most intriguing characters there, not because of all of the amount of ass pulls people will cry out for the character, because Vegito had the exact same thing when he fought Buhan. But just seeing her evolution, seeing her grow, and even seeing her ask Goku, don't you want to see me become a Super Saiyan 3? Don't you want to see me become a Super Saiyan Blue? And Goku is saying, yeah, if you can hack it, let's see if you can achieve it. So, and I'm paraphrasing, by the way. So let's say, hypothetically, if that were to be the case, where do you think Kefla would be gauged at if she were to fight against an Ultra Instinct Omen Goku? Because at that point in time, I think that this fight would be down to the knit and grits, because I think that Kefla at that stage would push Goku far enough in potentially either using and exerting more of his power or even beating him. Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, I still think, would slaughter her. There's no competition there. So perfected Ultra Instinct against Super Saiyan 3 Kefla isn't even a contest. However, looking at Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku, I think that Super Saiyan 3 Kefla would demolish every stage of Goku presented. Would you agree with that, or would you disagree with that? Not counting Ultra Instinct Omen yet, but seeing as how Goku would go as far enough to using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 and beyond, do you think that Super Saiyan 3 Kefla would easily demolish every single level of Goku before going into Ultra Instinct?
I think at that point, it's literally no contest. She was just that powerful. No contest. Like, literally, she was so powerful. And I mean, a bunch of it was ass pulls in that time that we were given, that she was just going to completely wipe the floor with Goku. He had no option other than to use the plot armor to win. And when you put it like that, Super Saiyan 3 added to that mix, it's just almost unbeatable at that point in time. You're going to have to bring out something that's super overpowered, and that being Mastered Ultra Instinct would probably be the go-to. If not, Ultra Instinct Omen might be on par with that with the power scaling of it all.
Looking at it from a Super Saiyan 3 fusion like Kefla, so you're saying in your opinion that you believe that Ultra Instinct Omen Goku would be equal to that? Because we saw how an Ultra Instinct Omen Goku is not weak by any measure. He is incredibly powerful, even though he relies more on his instincts to dodge and outmaneuver his opponent. That's exactly what he did against Kefla. Super Saiyan 2 Kefla wasn't able to even scratch Goku, not once. So I think that looking at this, Super Saiyan 3 Kefla would have had the advantage a little bit, more so than how she did as a Super Saiyan 2 in touching Goku. However, by the end of it, I'm not entirely sure if she would be able to get the job done, based on Goku's instinctive motive to just outmaneuver her. When it comes to power, as we saw with Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, she did take Goku's attacks and she came back from it and taunted him. So I think that with the attack portion, she might survive, and I think that she might come back at Goku. But disregarding Goku, what about Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta? What about Hakaishin Toppo? What about Jiren? Looking at those characters, looking at Golden Frieza, looking at how incredibly fast Dispo was, where would you gauge those characters in comparison to a Super Saiyan 3 Kefla?
I think the only one that still would be able to handle her would be Jiren. Okay. Other than that, these guys are still probably very, very far power level at that point in time. Yep.
So would you say that pitting up Hakaishin Toppo, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, all of those characters, even a high-speed Dispo, Golden Frieza, Android 17 with his barriers and his attacks, you're still saying that Super Saiyan 3 Kefla would far supersede all of those characters, minus Jiren?
She would absolutely supersede all of them, because at the very beginning of the fight, before Goku perfected Ultra Instinct, when he was an Ultra Instinct Omen, that's what it took to take on Jiren in the very base stages of the fight. Everything before that didn't necessarily count. So if everyone else below that, even Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, is in that Super Saiyan Blue tier of fighters, that's just completely irrelevant compared to Kefla. If she was in Super Saiyan 3, it was barely relevant when she was in Super Saiyan 2, so it doesn't necessarily scale up to her. The only two beings in that arena that would be able to take her on is Goku in his fully powered Mastered Ultra Instinct state, or Jiren at full power as well.
So you're only saying Mastered UI Goku would be able to defeat her, but as a comparison, Ultra Instinct Omen may not get the job done. Is that what you're saying?
It might be borderline, might be a stalemate if anything.
Because if you think about it, this isn't just any ordinary Super Saiyan 3, it's a fusion with the Potaras, so that just means that that particular fighter would exert so much power, but with enough power having to be exerted from that person, similar to how we saw Goku use Super Saiyan 3 in Dragon Ball Z, do you think that eventually that would have been Kefla's flaw, is remaining in that form? Because we all know that Super Saiyan 3 burns out so much power. It burns right through the host. Like, you deplete on energy a lot faster than using Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, and etc. So would you say that her downfall would be remaining in that form? Or do you think that, in your opinion, she would somehow be able to survive and push back as a means of being in that Super Saiyan 3-like form?
See, because that's one of the major flaws of Super Saiyan 3, that would be a concern. However, they're using fusion, and not only are they using fusion like Gotenks did, and that's what drained their fusion initially back in the Super Buu arc, they're using Potara fusion, so it's gonna last a bit longer and probably cover up that weakness for a bit. The only problem I would see having here is what happens after Goku, or whoever they're fighting. They'll probably win the 1v1, but everything after that, they're gonna probably drain that Potara timing with all of the power being exerted, because that's above Super Saiyan Blue level. And because of being above Super Saiyan Blue level, we saw how short Super Saiyan Blue Vegito's time was, so they might burn out the time. However, I think it'll be long enough to sustain against whoever they're fighting.
I definitely feel like Super Saiyan Blue Vegito is much different in comparison when it comes to power, because in my opinion, I would say Super Saiyan Blue Vegito is stronger just because of the amount of energy that two Super Saiyan Blues would exert, combining that into one singular fighter. But looking at it like this, the only way I would see her being stopped is if her arrogance and her overconfidence begins to shine. Meaning, if she begins to drag on every single fight like she did with Goku, and taunting their opponent, and trash talking, eventually I don't think she's going to be able to sustain the Super Saiyan 3 power long enough for her to survive. However, if she does end up surviving, I could maybe see everybody ganging up on her just to take her down, and it might work to an extent. People tend to forget how fast Dispo was. He was out blitzing Gohan, Ultimate Gohan, and Golden Frieza. Looking at Hakaishin Toppo, the only thing refraining him from winning was the fact that he even told everybody, especially Frieza, I could end you right now, but if I were to do that, I'm gonna get disqualified. So we know that most of these characters were very suppressed in their ability to use more of their power. However, minus Jiren and Goku, you would say that nobody else will be able to take her down. But let's say, as an example, we do throw in Jiren in there, because we spoke about Goku in the fact that perhaps maybe she would be equal to Ultra Instinct Omen, but weaker than Mastered Ultra Instinct. What about Jiren? Would you say that Jiren, using the current status of power that he has now, minus going into his full power, would you still see Jiren beating her the way he is? Or would he need to tap into his full power as we see it against Master UI Goku to take someone like this down?
I have a feeling with Jiren and the hype train that was behind him, he'd be able to take her down a little bit before he has to go full powered. I don't necessarily seeing her completely matching Ultra Instinct to its fullest. I'm just saying that there's a huge difference in power between Ultra Instinct Omen and Mastered Ultra Instinct, and she fits in between there. And in terms of like the power level of the Potaras, I mean, technically we are still fusing Super Saiyan Blue with Vegito. It was two Super Saiyan Blues. Technically one of them was Super Saiyan Blue level, that being Kale with the legendary Super Saiyan, and then the other one not so much, but she was still super powerful. So it's still up there. I'm not sure where you guys would rank Super Saiyan Blue Vegito next to Mastered Ultra Instinct, but I think that's where she would still end up falling.
Well, I think Mastered Ultra Instinct stomps Vegito. I mean, there's no question about that one. I mean, but looking at her scaling, it's more or less it would come down to who would have the upper hand quicker than the other, because Goku, although when he fought Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, wasn't able to do much minus the Kamehameha, she still fought back against Goku, and she tried, and she did take hits from Goku and kept coming back. So I think that if Super Saiyan 2 Kefla was able to do that, I think that Super Saiyan 3 Kefla would be able to take Ultra Instinct Goku's attacks and keep coming back. However, Jiren, on the other hand, you're saying that he would be able to win, but more or less not by going into his full power. So would you say rather having episode 109/110 Jiren, or episode 127, 128, and 129 Jiren? Because Jiren during episode 130 and 131 was at his peak. Before that, he was gradually growing. So at which episode Jiren would you best have suited against a Super Saiyan 3 Kefla?
The best two episodes to give out there was episode 109 and episode 129. When he was at 129, he was back in Goku was really pushing him, and then previously before in episode 109, everything after that first showdown with Ultra Instinct Omen versus Jiren, they said that he got weaker. So at that point in time, he was still at his strongest. He was still fresh. That's why he'd have a better chance then than anywhere else.
I mean, but by the end of it, would you say that Super Saiyan 3 Kefla would have made sense for the time being, considering that we've seen the evolution of various different fighters in this battle? We saw the evolution of the Saiyans. We saw the evolution of, you know, Jiren having to grow, Toppo. Would you say that this would have been the perfect place to finally introduce a Super Saiyan 3 fusion, considering that we as the fans in the fandom have always wanted to see Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta, Super Saiyan 3 Vegito? We got it in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, but do you think that this would have been like the perfect time to do that? Or do you think that it just would have been too much?
We had it with Gotenks before. We didn't necessarily
absolutely.
see it. But I mean, for them to introduce it in like Potara fusion, that would have been pretty cool to see, because we never really got to see them push beyond Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan and types of transformation, or have like a long haired transformation in Super Saiyan 3 type of thing with Potaras. I would have rather see that, because it was always a question to see if Vegito in their fused state was able to do it, and if like the base forms, like back in the Dragon Ball Z days when both Goku and Vegeta fused, was he actually able to go Super Saiyan 3 against Super Buu, or do both people have to have?
I'm fairly certain he could have. What do you think?
That's what I was hoping. This is what I would have most likely would have liked to see to have it confirmed, because with one person having like Super Saiyan Blue power here and the other one having only barely Super Saiyan 2, would that have bridged the gap and allowed the fusion to do it?
So by the end of it, would you say that Super Saiyan 3 Kefla would have made a huge difference, or would she have eventually have been fodder compared to some of the other fighters? Because I think me and you can universally agree that she would carry Universe 6. She would carry Universe 6 into at least the final 3 universes minus Aniraza. I think that it would have boiled down to 6, 7, and 11. So do you think that she would have been like that deciding factor in carrying the team, or would she have been foddered way before that and thus carrying out the exact same scenario that we saw in the anime?
I think she would have actually carried them to the very end, because she would have been the top 3 fighter right there then, and it would have gone as far as the fusion lasted. Like if the fusion lasted till the very end of the tournament, that's it. That would have been probably her right up there with Jiren and Goku fighting at the very end. I don't necessarily see her winning. I still would have seen Goku and Universe 7 winning, because they worked as a unit, they worked as a team, and trust is what won this initially. So with that being said, I would have rather see, if anything, her fight them all the way to the very end, and then all of a sudden Goku's still gonna get the win over her regardless because of the team.
I definitely believe that if Super Saiyan 3 Kefla actually was introduced in the Tournament of Power, she would have been a force to be reckoned with in terms of having the obstacle be presented for not only Goku and his friends, but also for the other remaining universes as well, such as Universe 11, Universe 3, Universe 4, and I definitely feel, and the debate is still out there for Kefla versus Vegito, I think at that given point, if Kefla were to reach a state where she actually tapped into Super Saiyan 3, she could even go as far as potentially even being stronger than a Super Saiyan Blue Vegito if that were to be the case. Now, I think that Kefla in her own right probably would have burned out on energy way too quick. I think that she would have been a force to be reckoned with in terms of power, but when it comes down to maintaining the actual form, I don't think that Kefla would have lasted very long. Similar to Gotenks, I think that her fusion time would have been cut short, and I also believe that going into this fight, yeah, she would have been very aware of her environment and being very strong, but I think that by the end of the day, if it were not for Jiren, she would basically run through the entire tournament by herself, with the exemption, of course, of Mastered Ultra Instinct and, of course, Jiren, as I do believe without question those two characters alone, I think, would be more than enough to take down a Super Saiyan 3 Kefla. But in terms of Hakaishin Toppo, Ultra Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, having to pit her up against 17, Golden Frieza, it would be remarkable to see how these fighters can even fare up against such a being like Super Saiyan 3 Kefla, considering her strength factor and her feats, having to triple, quadruple in having the power up in this state of form, that being Super Saiyan 3. So I think that a Super Saiyan 3 Kefla would have been great to see. Number one, it would have created a different dynamic in seeing such a powerful adversary emerge, not from Universe 7, not from Universe 11, but coming from Universe 6, Champa's universe, because Champa has a very unique set of fighters on his team. We saw the Namekians, we saw the Assassin, and having to put these two Saiyan females together and having their powers go as far as reaching Super Saiyan 3 in the state of Potara fusion, it would have been remarkable to see what that power could have been able to do against such odds like Universe 3, like Universe 4, like Universe 7, and of course like Universe 11. So in the end, guys, let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. What if Kefla just so have happened to have reached Super Saiyan 3 during the Tournament of Power? How far do you see Kefla going and battling against an Ultra Instinct Omen Goku, a Jiren having to go prior before reaching his full power, Hakaishin Toppo, and etc.? Let us know your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If, of course, you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to go ahead and smash that subscribe button, turn on all notifications, that way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new video is posted. Tune back in for more, check out SuperSaiyanPaul's channel, and we'll be seeing you all in the next Dragon Ball video. Take it easy, guys. Cue my outro, bitch!